Introduction to nutrient-focused approach based on the case in Rwanda. Key concept in nutrient-focused approach. This is a fundamental diagram for the people working on nutrition. It is called the Framework of Undernutrition, proposed by UNICEF. From this figure, we can understand undernutrition is caused by two direct causes, food and disease. These two direct causes can be divided into three subcategories called underlying causes: food security, household level caring practice for mother and child, disease prevention through improved household environment, as well as access to health service. From this figure, we can easily understand role of agriculture sector in nutrition improvement, which is improve food security. However, there is one point which is not very clear. What commodity we should focus on to improve food security? Is it rice, soybean, fish, spinach, or everything? To answer this, we have to look at status of undernutrition more carefully. Let's say in this case, we are interested in anemia reduction. Then we can rephrase the diagram as follows. Inadequate iron intake and iron loss caused by disease. Then role of agriculture sector uh, become much clearer. Improved access to iron-rich food. This is the direction we would like to proceed through a nutrient-focused approach. This slide shows potential area which agriculture can contribute to stunting reduction. The graph indicates a relationship between stunting and protein supply. The data is collected from DHS and FAOSTAT from 86 countries between year 1985 to 2017. Y-axis indicates stunting rate of children at the country level, and x-axis indicates country level average protein supply, gram per capita per day. And from the graph, we can easily understand there is a strong correlation between stunting rate and average protein supply. From the scientific literature, we understand causality of stunting is very complex, and we cannot say a single nutrient can resolve all the stunting problem. However, from this graph, we can at least say there is a potential in agriculture sector to contribute stunting reduction. It is well known that most of developing countries heavily relying on carbohydrate for their diet, and adjustment is required among macronutrients, carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And agriculture sector can contribute this process through improving availability and accessibility of protein. Okay, now the issue is how to realize the concept on the ground level. For this purpose, we consider four steps. It starts from identification of a key nutrition problem, such as stunting, or wasting, or anemia, or other. This process is done through a dialogue among key stakeholders. Once we agreed on key nutrition issue, then we discuss about key commodity for nutrition improvement. This process is supported by smartphone-based application. The concept is apply food composition table to select key commodity. After we agree on key commodity, then technical support will follow to improve year-round access to nutritious food. This process is mainly conducted by agriculture extension worker. And then final step is dietary guidance to achieve balanced diet. This is primarily done by a community health worker, supported by agriculture extension worker for access to nutritious food, and other member joins. Next, identification of food by a nutrition value. For the project in Rwanda, we have developed a smartphone-based tool to support identification of key commodity together with nutrition-sensitive agriculture guidelines. These tools are utilized to conduct training for district officers who will determine the key commodity for nutrition improvement in each district. This slide briefly explains the function of smartphone-based application. First, user will put information of target beneficiary, such as children under 2 to 100, children under 5 to 100. Second, user will input key commodity together with target quantity. In this case, soybean 10 kg and milk 60 kg per day. Third, based on the information, the application will return the result of a nutrition balance for selected commodity. In this case, uh, protein is satisfied 100%, and other type of nutrients such as energy, vitamin A, iron, satisfaction is between 12% to 36%. This is a result from Rwanda case. Each district determines the commodity and target quantity depending on the district situation. The type of commodity includes dairy cow for milk production, chicken for egg or chicken for meat, pork, beans, and soybean. Identify food by socioeconomic context. When we select key commodity for nutrition improvement, of course, nutrition content is the most important, but we also need to consider other aspects. For example, crop production is strongly affected by the local environment, agroecology, required farm input and the technology, infrastructure, seasonality, and so on. Dietary habit is strongly affected by cultural background, history, uh, religion, or gender situation, and other. Economic status also strongly affects crop production and crop consumption. So all those aspects need to be considered when we select appropriate commodity. We try to support this selection process using smartphone application. In the application, user will input candidate commodity first, then answer 12 questions covering key criteria such as nutrition content, technical feasibility, dietary habit, economic feasibility, year-round availability. Then, application will calculate the overall rating for the feasibility of selected crop, and also thematic level feasibility, just shown as in number 3. Optimize cropping pattern based on household economy and nutrition. There are a number of potential causes of undernutrition. One of the typical causes in African countries are food insecurity associated with seasonality, especially rural poor families engaging in small-scale rain-fed farming under semi-arid environments. In addition, during harvest season, these farmers suffer from oversupply of their products, which turns into low selling price and food wastage. For those reasons, we seriously need to consider how to adapt seasonality from the viewpoint of nutrition, economy, and health. Crop calendar is a common tool in agriculture to adapt seasonality. In Rwanda project, we try to introduce concept of nutrition in conventional crop calendar. Currently, the tool is developed in Excel, but later it will be transferred into smartphone-based application. In this worksheet, you can see yellow part, which user will input their information. And red part is a result from the user input. In this sheet, first the user will input uh, type of crop they introduce in the field. They also need to input family composition, uh, age and sex, and also overall farm size. Then farmer will allocate certain production area, certain land area for selected crop. Then user will get the information, monthly nutrition balance of selected cropping pattern. Also, annual nutrition balance is shown in the table, together with annual economic benefit, annual sales. So user can uh, compare economic benefit as well as nutrition benefit from certain cropping pattern. This way, they can optimize cropping pattern from the viewpoint of economy and nutrition. This is an example of conventional cropping pattern in Rwanda irrigation scheme. By applying the tool, we can understand um, there is a problem in vitamin A supply in cropping pattern 1, 2, and 4. Then, based on the output, we can consider slight modification in conventional cropping pattern, just adding sweet potato during season B, just small portion of the land, 0.01 hectare. This is a nutrition impact of modified cropping pattern. By comparing with current cropping pattern, uh, supply of vitamin A increased dramatically. Through nutrient-focused approach, we're trying to identify nutrition-dense food by considering nutrition composition of each food item, by considering locally specific conditions such as agroecology, dietary habit, economic status, and so on. Through nutrient-focused approach, we are trying to optimize crop calendar so that user can mitigate seasonal supply gap for nutrition-dense food, identify a good balance between nutrition and economic benefit. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.